Hi there. Welcome to this marketing plan overview as I walk you through how to use these two templates. If you registered ahead of time, you should have received the two worksheets in your email. Make sure you download them and have them handy as you're going through this video. That way you can follow along as I walk you through how to use them. Hi, I'm Jerry Deniston, a certified small business advisor with additional training and certification in strategic planning, business planning, and systems thinking. I've been coaching, training, and helping clients with all aspects of marketing for over 30 years. I developed these two templates to try to simplify the marketing planning process for my clients, and I really would love your feedback. Do the worksheets make sense? Are they easy to use and understand? Are they interesting to use and understand? Please send me an email to jerry@dennergroup.com with the subject line marketing plan feedback, or you can message me on Facebook or LinkedIn if you prefer. Either way, that would be very helpful. Thank you. So let's get started. I'm going to hop over here to the marketing plan overview template. I want you to start there, pull out that legal size document, and let's get started here. I'll use the annotation tools on this worksheet so that I can show you what I'm talking about, demonstrate as I walk you through this process. We're going to start first up here on the left and fill in the current year for right now for 2024, because that's the year that we're in. And this would be the 2024 marketing plan overview. This is a marketing plan for 1 year. The next thing you're going to do is hop over here to the right-hand side of this worksheet. And where it says desired state, we're going to put January 2025. We're in January right now, but if you happen to be watching this video and it's February or March, then you'll want to put that date, February or March 2025 in here so that you're always working 1 year ahead, okay? Take a notice here that on this right-hand side of the worksheet, we're talking about the future. This is imagining that you're already in January of 2025. 2024 is behind us. You've already accomplished these goals that we're going to be setting right now, and you're identifying what's changed in your business. So that's the next thing we're going to do, is look at what is this desired state? What is it that we wanted to accomplish? And it's already happened. We're imagining that this has already taken place and we have accomplished what we set out to do in 2024. So what does that look like? Well, this might be expanded menu. I'm using a coffee shop as in a case study, just to give us some kind of a business to work on. Expanded menu to include gluten-free and unique lunch items. So that's the desired state. We will have done that by the time we reach 2025, January of 2025. The next step is to set some specific targeted goals. So the desired state doesn't list anything specific. We aren't talking revenue. We aren't talking customers. We aren't talking what kinds of items, no detail. It's just this objective of what has changed in the business. And under success measures, now we are going to put in some specifics. So if we've been in business, I'm assuming this is a coffee shop that started in 2022, right? Maybe right after COVID pretty much ended, and things started opening up again. And it's just breakfast items. It's a coffee shop that's open at 6:30 in the morning until maybe 11:30 or noon, something like that. And only coffee and pastries right now, maybe some breakfast sandwiches. That's it. That's what's been happening since 2022. Business is pretty good, but could be better. You'd like to reach a wider audience. You've got some repeat customers, but you're not getting the kind of traffic and business that you had hoped to achieve. So we're going to focus on making some changes in 2024 with some specific targets. And one of the financial targets might be to increase our revenue by 20%. Well, yeah, 20%, not the 30%. Now, the other would be customers. First is financial, the next is customers. If we're expanding the menu to include lunch items and gluten-free items, that could attract a different audience than what we're currently getting, right? Now we're going to get some additional customers. So with that expanded menu, we might actually get a 30% increase in customers, which would be really cool and a great target to shoot for. The next thing we want to set as a goal is our engagement. And when we talk about engagement, this isn't just social media engagement. That's important too. And we should have some specific numbers for social media engagement when we get into the details of listing out what our actions are. But here we're talking about not just increasing shares and comments on social, but also referrals and increasing what customers are talking about, that they're talking about us, that they're sharing information about our menu, that kind of engagement. We're getting more and more people in the door, they're bringing their friends, and we're getting a lot more customer engagement going on. So let's say that also increases by 30%. That's a good target to shoot for. The other is community support. If you haven't already been supporting a local charity or a local nonprofit organization, then this is a good time to be doing that. Since for the last several years, one of the changes that's occurred is that people are paying more attention to organizations that support the charities and nonprofits that are near and dear to their heart. So if all things are equal and you've got a choice of going to one coffee shop or going to another coffee shop for coffee and pastries, and they're basically the same, then the customer, if you're the one coffee shop that supports a veterans organization or Boys and Girls Club, and that's near and dear to the customer's heart, then the customer is going to choose to do business with you versus your competition. And so that's one way to set yourself apart, by partnering with these charities and nonprofit organizations. Different ways that you can do that. I'm just going to put in a target here of 2 charities supported. You can do it through a profit, a percentage of profits. You can do it through a special event where the proceeds benefit the charities or the nonprofits. The different ways that you can look at doing that. But that might be another goal to put in here if you have not already done that. So that's our future. This is what we will have accomplished in January of 2025. Now we're going to hop over here to the left side of the template, and we're going to look at what are the core strategies we need to put in place today in order to achieve those success measures that we identified over here on the right-hand side, and this desired state that we also identified. So if we're expanding our menu to include gluten-free and unique lunch items, one thing might be that we need to hire a chef and train in gluten-free. Right? So maybe the chef doesn't quite know how to do that or needs some training in that. That could be one thing. Another might be if we've increased our customer base by 30%, we may need to add staff. So add staff, and we need to train them. Add and train staff. And another area that we might need to also include is maybe we needed a new POS system to handle the increased menu items, be able to track our sales, that sort of thing. Now you're going to say, well, those items are not necessarily marketing related, and you're right, they aren't. Those are operational. But those operational aspects need to be put in place in order for marketing to be able to do the promotion that's necessary to drive the customers to the store. So that has to happen. It's good to include that because, again, if that doesn't happen, no sense doing the marketing, right? You can't do the promotion until you've got those in place. For external, now let's look at things like customer. You better have a good idea of what your ideal customer looks like. This is where you want to focus on the buyer persona. Let's see if I can, I don't know that I can get that in there. But your ideal customer, fill out a template for the buyer persona so that you have a really good idea of what that client, what that customer is like, what their habits are, what social media platforms they are frequently on, so that you know where to find them. That's going to be really critical to your marketing strategy. So ideal customer would be one. Another would be competition. You really ought to have a good idea of who the other coffee shops are in the area. And maybe they aren't just coffee shops. Maybe it's, you know, there are a lot of places like McDonald's, the fast food restaurants that are doing unique coffee items, right? They're doing specialty coffees and breakfast. They serve breakfast too. Now, granted, it's not exactly the kind of ambiance that people like when they go to a coffee shop. They're there. It isn't. It's the experience, right? It isn't just the coffee. But look at who your competition is for what you're trying to accomplish, and sample their goods, sample their menus, so that you know how yours is going to differ and how you can make yours unique, so it isn't just another, you know, croissant sandwich, for example. You might also need to explore some new technology, because how your customers are finding you. This might be SMS text messaging, might be something new that you would implement from a marketing standpoint. How customers find you is going to be important, and understanding that and how to reach them is going to be a really key marketing strategy. So that might be something that you put under external here. Then another, under communication, this is where you want to look at how you're going to be reaching those customers. What are you putting in place besides just social media posts? What are you going to put in place to do the outreach and stay in contact with the customers? So email marketing might be one of those things. Maybe you need an automation campaign, maybe some ads to attract people to click on some links, a blog to educate and inform. Those might be some things that you do. Maybe you need to put in, finally, a CRM system that you haven't invested in yet. And so maybe that's part of your communication strategy, is putting all of those items in place. The last area is events, and this might be a time when you decide, okay, we'll host a chamber mixer, and maybe we'll do a booth at an event, at a trade show or a festival. Pick the events where your ideal customer is likely to be. That's that I would recommend that, and make sure you've got the right flyers and handouts for branding purposes and ways for people to get in touch and know how to find you, how to find your coffee shop. That's this. We filled this out for the most part. We're not going to focus on the center part here, the circle with the months. This is the calendar for that's going to happen after we've done the strategies and actions worksheet. So I'm going to bring up the Excel version of that so that I can also type into it and demonstrate, keep this case study going, but demonstrate how you might bring some of these across, these specific core strategies, over to the strategies and actions worksheet, and then begin to add some more detail to that. One point I wanted to make is to focus only on 3 items. As you go through this and you're developing your list, you're probably going to come up with a list of maybe 6 different things under each of these categories. Focus on the top 3. Keep the other 3 items on your list, but prioritize which ones are the absolute top 3 that you need to pay attention to in order to achieve these goals for 2025. That's going to be critical. You can't focus on more than 3 at any given point in time. Once you've achieved one of those, like you've hired the chef and got it trained, got him or her trained, and she's producing gluten-free baked goods, then you can move one of the other items up into the top 3 to begin working on as well, right? Because you've accomplished that one. So let me bring up the Excel worksheet. So we said hire and train chef. And we also said hire and train staff. And for external, we said buyer persona. Under customer. And we said competition. So this is going to be research. And then under communication, we've got advertising. So maybe what we need to do is some Facebook ads and Instagram ads. And maybe you might want, if you've got money to do it, you might do some radio advertising or direct mail or brochures. Those are options. But you might also want to do a blog, in which case we can just get rid of that X, because now you're going to write a blog if you haven't got one already. And then on the social media, we probably need to do these posts and reels for Instagram and Facebook. I'm assuming that our customers are basically coming from Facebook and Instagram. That's where we're, and also the blog might do some videos. So use YouTube or Vimeo for that. And if we're going to introduce SMS, then maybe we're going to do this SMS direct messages on Facebook. Maybe not X, but Facebook, and not necessarily LinkedIn, but we could just focus on Facebook. Let's see if we can just do, draw a little circle here and just say we just want Facebook. That's the only one we want, and we're going to make that no fill. So there. And then email marketing. Maybe we need to launch the email marketing campaign. So we've got that in here. Maybe we're going to start a newsletter. That might be something else that we want to do. And if we're going to do an event like a chamber mixer, we probably need to create a landing page or have a sign up form. Maybe not, because the chamber is going to do that for us, but produce a flyer of some kind to promote it. So that would go under events. And if we're going to do a booth at a conference or trade show, then there might be some materials we need to produce for that, right? And a lot of materials we need to produce to have a booth. So let's start back up here where we're hiring and training the chef. I'll just go across this one line here, because now we're going to go across and fill in the other columns. Under specific purpose and action, well, the purpose here is learn gluten-free baking, right? And then the platforms, maybe we have to, maybe there's a class or a workshop that, and you know, new additional, we need additional resources, flours, gluten-free flours, right? We've got to do that. And who, this will be the chef going through that. And then the by when column, this is where we're really talking about what needs to happen in the next 3 months, the next 6 months, the next 12 months, not a specific date, just months, so that you've got a time frame that's manageable to work on. So if we're going to be introducing that new menu, and let's say we want to kick it off in the next 6 months, then we better get the chef hired in the next 3 months and the training done, right? So that's going to be done in the next 3 months. And the cost for that, who knows? But, you know, maybe the workshop's going to cost you $500. And then you've got some additional materials. You got to buy more flours. So maybe there's actually an investment of about $750 in that. And the success measures, well, this is going to tie to both financial and customer. So it ties to both those success measures. So then hiring and training the staff, that may not have to happen for, maybe it's 6 months, because you're changing the menu. You're going to launch it in, let's say we're going to do that in around June, something like that. So you've got 6 months. You've got the planning and the hiring the chef and getting the word out. You may not get see the increased customer base, the increased traffic, for another, 6 to 9 months. So maybe you don't need to do that. That can be 6 months out, that you get them hired and trained. So this would be customer service, is what you want here. And maybe you need to bring in a consultant to help with that training, in customer service. And that may be the who is the consultant, and the owner, right? Maybe you. And there's a cost associated with that. Don't know what that would be. And the success measures, well, this is going to be customer and also financial. And possibly increased engagement. That's what we want. With more customers coming in, more satisfied customers, you'll have better engagement. So those could be the success measures. So that's how this worksheet works. Now, as you are going through this, we're saying customer service, hire a consultant, hire the staff. Obviously, there are more details related to that, right? You don't just hire staff. You've got to write an ad. You've got to write a job description. You've got to put the ad in the local publications or online on Indeed, things like that. Then you've got to interview. All of these are just specific tasks that have to happen. Same thing with the chef, right? You've got to do a search, write the job description, advertise the job, interview, select the candidate, get them on board, get them trained, buy the flowers, the resources that they need, the tools that they need to begin producing, right? There are a whole bunch of steps related to that. And that's going to be true for each one of these action categories. My recommendation is that you start another Excel spreadsheet. You could just add another worksheet right here at the bottom of this. And I'm going to be giving you both a PDF and the Excel version of this. So you could just add another one. And under that, you could have hire, train, chef, and list all of those different tasks and dates by when. So if you've got a 3-month window out here for hire the chef, then you can do a backup, right? And you can say, okay, in month 1, I better have the job description written, I better have the ad posted, and I better be advertising. In month 2, I better be interviewing candidates and selecting someone, so that on month 3, I've got the candidates selected, I'm onboarding them, and we started the training process, right? So that's how that would go. And that's going to be true for each of these line items in the blue column, those details. But now you've got a really specific task list that you can check off on each one of these as you are completing your marketing plan. Same thing, let's take that same example, but let's do it now for social media posts. You're going to create Facebook and Instagram ads. Okay, there's a lot of detail related to that. So on that same worksheet that that I was just describing, then you're going to have Facebook ads, Instagram ads. Well, 1, get familiar with the Meta Planner. 2, if you aren't already on Canva, set up a pro Canva account. 3, get your logo. 4, gather all the images. 5, create videos. Find the images that you need on, if you haven't got them, take pictures of your different items. Those are all in preparation for creating the social post. If you aren't going to create the social post, then one of those items is hire a social media pro to do that for you. But then you've got to provide all that content still. You've got to know what your brand colors are. So they have the specific colors that they can use, and with your logo and your brand look, right? So the branding is going to be a key component to this. All of those details should be listed. And again, if that's out six months, the Facebook, the online, if you've got the chef and the boat, you could probably start all of that, maybe even at month 4, right? So it could be a 6-month window, and months 4, 5, and 6 are the creating the social posts and scheduling them and getting them and tweaking them and keeping them going, right? That's all part of that. So highly recommend you add an extra sheet here and you start listing out all of those tasks and then more specific dates and who's going to do them and when are they accomplished so that you have something that you can track. From this worksheet, you're going to go back to the other worksheet, this template, and now you're going to begin putting in those into this calendar. The purpose of this template is to really provide you with a snapshot, a one-page overview snapshot of your marketing plan for the year. The details are on the worksheets that are, the other worksheets, those Excel worksheets. That's where all the details are and the tasks that you need to check off. But this gives you a one-page snapshot. You can look at this and you go, okay, this is what I got to have done in February. Here's what I have to have done in March. This is what's supposed to be done by April, by May, by June. And you just put all of those months in here and those items. So February and March is hire chef, train chef, March onboard chef, right? Hire staff, train staff, onboard staff, so that by April, we're launching the new menu, or by May. And that's what you're going to put in here. Those core items that are going to happen here. August might be a time where you're just kind of resting, right? You're taking, because people are on vacation. Maybe there's not much happening during August. It's, school's out, families leave town, go on vacation. So that might be kind of what I call a rest month, and it's planning for the rest of the gearing up for the holidays. September, October, November, this is where we're really gearing up for the holidays and the end of the year. This check-in point halfway through is a good place for you to take a hard look at what you've got, you've implemented in February, March, April, and May, and June. Now we're getting towards mid-June, end of June. Take a look and say, well, how are our posts working? How is our blog working? How are the ads working? What do we need to change? What do we need to tweak? How do we, let's make some changes so that when we go into July and August, September, October, we're seeing an increase. We're seeing a bump. We're seeing some changes occur. That's how you want to look at this calendar. So you're seeding it, you're getting everything ready in February and March. In April, you're feeding it through the social posts, the blogs, the email marketing. You're doing some selling here in July and August and September. And hopefully in October, November, December, you're beginning to reap the rewards. You're seeing this success. You're seeing an increase in traffic to the store. You're seeing an increase in engagement online. You're seeing more and more referrals from your existing customers, and you're seeing an increase in revenue. That's the objective here. So I hope this all makes sense, and that you take some time to work on this. And this is January is a great month to be doing this kind of planning. But any month is a good month to do the planning. Just put the plan in place and work on it. And if you've got questions, please email me at jerry@dennergroup.com. I've got my email right here on the template for you. And I would love to hear from you. And I would really love to get some feedback on how you found working with the templates. Were they useful? Were they not? I look forward to communicating with you. Thanks again for watching.